Bid. Thanks for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at Noon. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Questions about the president's health and age continue to shape the race for the White House.
But President Biden remains defiant, saying that he is not going anywhere. KTLA 5's Chip Yost, live for us today in Anaheim with more. Chip.
Yeah, hey there, Glenn and Lou. Actor George Clooney, now one of the biggest names, calling for President Biden to step down as the next candidate for the Democratic nomination for president. Right now we're in Anaheim. We're outside the Democratic offices here in Anaheim, where we've been speaking to delegates who will actually be the ones to choose the candidate on the ticket for the Democratic Party at the convention in August. We'll hear from one of those delegates in a moment, but first let's talk about President Biden. As you alluded to, he is not backing down. He has expressed anger. His campaign has expressed anger at some of these people calling for him to step down as the candidate for president for the Democratic Party. This morning, he was going on with his campaign, had a campaign stop. After that, he went on with some of his official duties, including talking to a NATO summit in Washington. Here's some of his speech there.
We can and will defend every inch of NATO territory, and we'll do it together.
But as I said, even though he's been defiant, asking people to stop all this talk of him stepping down, the talk has not stopped. As mentioned at the top, actor George Clooney, one of President Biden's longtime supporters, actually held a fundraiser for him recently, now saying it's time to give someone else a shot at the top of the Democratic ticket for the 2024 election. Clooney wrote an op-ed in the New York Times calling for Biden to step down as the candidate for the Democratic Party. Here is part of what he said in that op-ed. In part it says, "Our party leaders need to stop telling us that 51 people didn't see what we just saw. We're all so terrified by the prospect of a second Trump term that we've opted to ignore every warning sign. This is about age, nothing more, but also nothing that can be reversed. We are not going to win in November with this president. On top of that, we won't win the House, and we're going to lose the Senate." Speaking of the Senate, a Democratic senator also adding his voice to the calls for Biden to step down.
Donald Trump is on track, I think, to win this election and maybe win it by a landslide and take with him the Senate and the House. And so for me, this isn't a question about polling. It's not a question about politics. It's a moral question about the future of our country.
So how is this affecting the delegates? It is the delegates at the convention who actually make the final choice on who will be the Democratic nominee for president. That convention is in August. We've been talking to some of the delegates. A lot of the delegates are pledged supporters. They're picked as delegates because of their allegiance to President Biden. We talked to one of those delegates a little bit earlier, and he told us so far he and all of the other delegates he's talked to thus far are not wavering in their support for President Biden.
And as of yet, I've yet to speak to a single delegate in my region that covers 5 assembly districts and 5 congressional seats that any of them are abandoning the president or not supporting the president. If anything, what I'm hearing from people is it's time that we unite behind the president and stop this infighting.
And we'll hear more from some delegates coming up later today. But for now, we're putting live here in Anaheim. I'm Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
All right, thank you, Chip. Now to developing news. The family of an Alhambra man struck and killed in a crash is now suing former Red Hot Chili Pepper guitarist Josh Klinghoffer for wrongful death. The 47-year-old Israel Sanchez was struck by Klinghoffer while in the crosswalk near the West Main Street in Alhambra back on March 18th. You can see from the video, Sanchez was dragged across the street after being hit. He died hours later at the hospital. The family's attorney says the guitarist should be arrested and charged for the crash. Klinghoffer is currently a touring guitarist with Pearl Jam. We have reached out to the band and the DA's office for comment. Alhambra police say the accident remains under investigation. We'll have more on this in a live report coming up at 1 p.m.
The Rust movie shooting trial involving actor Alec Baldwin is now underway in a New Mexico courtroom. In the prosecution's opening statement, they said Baldwin is accused of recklessly handling the revolver, skipping the safety checks, and playing a make-believe with a real gun. The defense said the deaths of cinematographer Helena Hutchins was an unspeakable tragedy, but that Baldwin was acting and that no crime was committed. Hutchins was killed when the gun Baldwin was holding fired a real bullet on the movie set back in 2021. He maintains he did not pull the trigger. He is facing a charge of involuntary manslaughter. The trial is expected to last for 10 days.
Only on 5 new surveillance video of a multi-million-dollar heist in the Hollywood Hills. The homeowner tells KTLA masked burglars smashed their way into his home about 12:30 yesterday afternoon in Doheny Estates. He says the suspects disabled the security system and stole dozens of high-end collectors' watches. The homeowner says his neighbor saw 3 men driving away in a white Jeep Grand Cherokee. He says any potential watch buyers should be on the lookout for a flood of watches that could hit the market all at once. LA Metro officials detailed efforts made towards improving safety on the city's public transportation system.
There's also a new head of the Metro Board. KTLA 5's Alina Bovian in downtown LA with developing news. Hi, Lena.
Hi, Lou and Glenn. Good afternoon. That's right. Today was a big day for the LA Metro. Not only the 2024 state of the agency, but also the passing of the responsibility, the chair from Mayor Karen Bass over to Supervisor Janice Hahn.
With great respect and pleasure, I pass this gavel to Chairwoman Janice Hahn.
Supervisor Janice Hahn now stepping into the role as chair of the LA Metro. Looking forward, the two have the same ambition for the agency to continue to build on the infrastructure. Speaking today about the progress, Mayor Karen Bass touting the projects currently under construction, the Airport Metro Connector, the Purple D-Line extension, and reaching major planning milestones, including the East San Fernando Valley Line, the North San Fernando Valley Line, and also the Southeast Gateway Line. All these new initiatives helping support LA's transit system, the infrastructure of it ahead of the 2028 Olympics and other major events, especially considering Los Angeles is considered the second largest transit system. Safety also a top priority. Earlier this year, the Metro Board unanimously approved the creation of Metro's Transit Community Public Safety Department, which essentially brings law enforcement services in-house. One example of the success, Metro officers saved 190 lives with the use of Narcan. The mayor also touting 18 straight months of ridership growth with LA Metro. Moving forward, the goal is to ensure cleanliness, rider experience, and also making sure everyone who rides has a ticket and ensuring the ticket gets checked.
Riders and hard-working Metro employees alike feeling unsafe on the system. So we took action. We acted urgently and we launched a law enforcement surge onto the system.
My top priority as the new chair of the Metro Board of Directors is the safety of our riders and the safety of our employees. And law enforcement is an essential part of that puzzle. I believe the recent surge in law enforcement ordered by Mayor Bass and our board was the right thing to do.
And the LA Metro serves about 1 million people every single day. Supervisor Janice Hahn saying to us earlier today that she plans to be one of the riders getting on and off consistently to ensure that she is seeing everything that needs growth and improvement. That's the very latest. I'm Lena Bourbon reporting live here in downtown LA, KTLA 5 News.
Alina, thank you. Well, the brutal heat wave is causing concerns about wildfires in the Sepulveda Basin.
The area has been the site of recent fires, including one that started at a homeless encampment. KTLA 5's Lauren Lister live now in Van Nuys with the details. Lauren?
Yeah, Glenn and Lou, another hot day here in the valley, and one local conservation group is speaking out. They are specifically concerned with the risk they say that come from homeless encampments here in terms of fire risk and anything that could ignite a fire if they are cooking. They say there have been incidents of that in the past, and Take a look. Here is one that they said really tipped the scale and caused them to want to speak out about this and express their outrage and call for something to be done. A leader of the San Fernando Audubon Society saying this fire in the Sepulveda Basin late June was the last straw. They say one of their members was here at the time for this fire that injured 11 LA City firefighters, one of them seriously in an explosion. Officials said it was a homeless encampment fire, and at the time, LAPD told KTLA there were multiple suspicious devices found in the encampment where the fire erupted. The Audubon Society estimates about 150 people living in the Sepulveda Basin at last check. Other fires here include one in 2020 that forced the 405 to be shut down for a time, took 100 firefighters to get it under control, and a body was discovered in the aftermath. The Audubon Society says the Sepulveda Basin's Wildlife Reserve was also burned in that fire, something that's very important to them. The group sponsors programs for thousands of LAOSD kids in the basin, as well as habitat restoration, they say, and the high fire danger is a top concern.
Because of the situation with all our encampments in the area and the risk of cooking going on in areas where there's a lot of brush, which is fuel for these fires, an instantaneous fire can take place due to a spark. Our elected officials are not really taking this particular location as a location that needs to be attended to.
We did reach out to the council member for this area, Imelda Padilla, and she said in a statement in part, I share the concerns of the San Fernando Valley Audubon Society regarding the recent brush fire and fire